DreamHack Open is brought to you by Intel, Corsair, MSI, and Monster Energy.
With the right CPU, you can turn any game from familiar to phenomenal. Unleash the potential in all your gaming with Intel 10th Gen processors. With its optimal balance of threads, cores, and frequency to deliver elite real-world performance, only Intel can bring Marvel's Avengers to life with in-game PC optimizations. Supercharge your Marvel's Avengers experience with Intel Core i5, i7, and i9 processors.
We're turning up the heat here at DreamHack Open Fall as it's all on the line in our first elimination match of the day. Heroic are locking horns with Sprout as one of these two teams will have their run cut short. Two people that aren't going anywhere anytime soon, however, the wonderful Blair and Maui. Maui, pleasure to have you up here. I know it's, 4 a.m. Hawaii time, but you're dedicated to the CS cause.
Yeah, it's 3:45 a.m., but I have adjusted my sleep schedule as such, so it's all good in the hood.
It's going to be good in the hood indeed, as we could take a quick recap of our playoff bracket. As it currently stands, of course, we started the day off with our winners matchup. It was Vitality taking on Big. That was a pretty swift 2-0, Blair. Maybe we would have expected it to go the full 3 maps, but of course, that leaves Astralis versus Vitality in our upper bracket final. That's going to be an absolute banger.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have to agree with you. I felt it would have been a little bit of a closer affair, but Vitality, they were ready on the Inferno, and Big picking Dust 2, unfortunately not working out for them. I'm just excited about the lower bracket. Look at that. Sprout, Heroic, OG, Nip. They face Big and Fnatic. A potential of a Swedish Adobe as well later on if Nip do win over OG. Yeah, it's just shaping up to be a hell of a tournament.
It is absolutely stacked indeed. So much competition on the line here. And of course, we can move into our current matchup, which is going to be Heroic versus Sprout. So I'm wondering from your perspective, Maui, whether map vetoes are going to be lying for this one.
Ooh, okay. Well, Heroic ban out Dust 2 quite a bit, which is a shame for Sprout because they do like that map. Sprout have been banning Overpass lately, so I think those are the maps we'll see coming out right here in the bans. As for the pick, though, I wasn't exactly sure where Sprout wanted to go with this one because Heroics and Sprout both really like Nuke and Vertigo, so I'm not exactly certain who will pick which one. And Sprout has an option here if they don't want to go with one of those two maps early on to possibly pick Mirage, and I think that's a potential here. And it looks like, okay, they will actually, and oh, that's surprising that Heroic go for Train instead. I think that's kind of playing to some of their strengths and kind of away from the weaknesses or towards the weaknesses of Sprout a little bit. That's a nice pick, I will say. What do you think, Blair?
I like that. I think you're spot on with the Mirage pick coming in, right? I think the vetoes are kind of expected. It's kind of standard. The Mirage coming out, Vertigo being avoided. I think Sprout a little scared of what Heroic can throw their way in Vertigo. Train is something I've been waiting to see from Heroic, right? It's a map they don't pick, but we saw how they completely obliterated Astralis on it. I think it's a good map. You look at the stats, you look at the numbers, you're like, yeah, Sprout have a pretty good win rate on it as well. However, the caliber of opponents that Heroic have played on this Train is a different league altogether. So yeah, this is going to be pretty close, if you ask me.
It is going to be a close one indeed. And of course, let's keep our topic of the first map coming up. Of course, that will be Mirage. Maui, what have we kind of come to learn in terms of Sprout's performance on this map? Obviously, we can see here, they play it quite a lot.
Yeah, Sprout's kind of they're a team that you look at their roster and you kind of watch how they play on other maps and you think they would be great at Mirage. That being said, it actually has a negative win percentage for them, or sub 50% in the last few months. But they have taken some pretty big scalps. They beat NIP, they've beaten Heretics, they took Endpoint out as well, but they've lost to a few teams that kind of are you would think would be lower caliber. Namiga is an example of that. Gambit Youngsters, another. Like, these aren't terrible teams, but Skade, for example, on top of that, those are not the best teams if you're going into this one against Heroic, because Heroic, you would definitely say, is in the upper echelon of European Counter-Strike right now.
Yeah, 100%. And keeping on the topic of Sprouts here, the wonderful Frankie had a chance to catch up with Favin ahead of this one.
Favin, thank you for joining me. You, as a team, were very keen to force individual duels against Godsent. How do you feel about going up against a team with a lot of firepower like Heroic?
It will be 100% harder like against Godsent, but I think if DreamHack again has a good game and we all like play a bit better than our normal game, I would say we have still good chances to win also against Heroic.
What happens if DreamHack gets shut down though? Because of course there's a lot of information now out there about how you guys play.
Then I hope we will just play like team play. We will play better and just hit our shots then on our own. But DreamHack is currently in a really good form, and like everyone in this team, and I think we can do good damage even when he has a bad game.
Favin, thank you so much for talking to me.
No problem. Thank you too.
Frankie brings up a good point in that interview. Of course, we saw that aggressive, maybe scrappy, looser playstyle really testing Godsent with a more calculated approach. But I think it's a big question mark coming into this one, Maui, because they will be going up against Heroic, who are not afraid to be taking some of those duels themselves.
Yeah, Sprout. Sometimes it seems like their win conditions just involve multi-frags from unlikely suspects. DreamHack has been super impressive for them. Snatchy at the top of the leaderboards for opening kills as well. And really, with Dennis and Favin behind them, two just incredibly solid players, it's hard to see them losing to lower tier competition, but Heroic is just a different beast. This team has been so hot lately, and I want to give a lot of credit to Sprout and how they play this scrappy, kind of loose style, but Heroic, they're a tight-knit unit at this point. They have been looking really solid across tournaments, and they're one of the teams that has found consistency despite the online era that we are in the midst of right now.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point to be bringing up there. And I feel like we may have a little bit more focus on Snatchy Blair, because I know he's been a player that we've kind of been talking about, his ability with the AWP. And we have seen him being pretty consistent across the series, at least here at DreamHack Open.
Yeah, he does tend to get a little overshadowed by DreamHack, because what a beast DreamHack is, especially when it comes to getting his multi-kills. But Snatchy, I mean, the stats don't lie. He is the most successful entry fragger right now in the tournament. He has been spectacular with the AWP. I think these two are going to be very instrumental. But I feel Maui has a very good point there, right? Both the teams like playing aggressive, especially on the CD side, Heroic and Sprout as well. Well, Sprout is more loose in their approach. Heroic are like, they have this tempered aggression. It is aggressive, but there is a method behind the madness. So it's two different styles of aggression we're going to be seeing in the server. And I feel both Snatchy and DreamHack are going to be very instrumental for Sprout to get any success.
Well, speaking of their opponents in Heroic, the wonderful Frankie had a chance to catch up with Tezis to see what he thought of this next match.
Tessa, thank you for joining me. Tell me about your in-game relationship with Stavn, because the two of you are so dangerous together.
Well, Stavn, he is an incredible guy. He's so good as he is, and this age he's really young, and he definitely has more knowledge than me, that's for sure. He's way better at communicating as well. When he's in a clutch situation with one guy or with me or something, he's always taking the initiative and making a plan.
And Sprout have also got a very scary pairing of their own in DreamHack and Snatchy. Do you think there's a way to stop them dealing so much damage?
Of course, there's a way to stop them. We just need to prepare good for those two, exactly, and see what they are doing and why they are playing so good, what peaks do they do, and what is working for them. And they are really great individual players. I think DreamHack's aim is just insane. So yeah, we definitely need to look out for him.
Well, Tessa, thank you so much for talking to me. And of course, good luck in your match against Sprout.
Thank you.
Preparation is the name of the game for Heroic coming into this one. And I love that we get to start off by talking a little bit about Tessus as we hear a few words from the man himself. Because Blair, he's been so instrumental in terms of the impact that Heroic can be showing, especially in that game against North on Vertigo. His adaptability on that map, the way he was moving around it, was just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I think Launders says it best, right? This guy just built different. The way he... For such a young player, bear in mind, he just joined his team this year. He was a guy everyone had their eyes on. They're like, is he really going to be able to deliver to the levels of, let's say, an S-Attack when he was playing for Heroic? And just this gradual rise for him has been spectacular. The amount of responsibility he has as well on the CT side, single-handedly taking over bomb side, single-handedly controlling the map, and just his ability to stay alive even late into the rounds. Just all around a star player any team will be lucky to have.
Yeah, they would indeed. And of course, the captain of this team is Cadian. He brings such a wealth of experience and knowledge, really, to the team, Maui. You've seen him in so many other teams. And kind of having him here with these younger players under his wing. By no means is Cadian old, by the way. I feel like he's one of those players who's misinterpreted to be way older than he is because he's just so mature and he has so much experience within the game. But to see him being able to pick up the AWP, still bringing in those numbers whilst leading this team, it's pretty good to watch.
Yeah, Cadian's a player who it feels like for most of his career, he's been a little bit emotional at times. Streaky is a word that is frequently used to describe him, but he's found a level of consistency lately that has been really refreshing to watch because he is definitely a win condition for this Heroic lineup. And I feel like bringing it back to Tessus as well, that he and Nico, when they joined this lineup and they in April of this year, this is when Heroic elevated. This is when before that they had Snappy and S-Tag, and it really feels like Heroic at that point turned a page. They found a lot of strength in their riflers and had contingency plans in their firepower that matched their tactics. And that is just a really nice sight to see because Heroic has been a team that's always been really well prepared. They've always had great game plans. They've had nice strats, nice set plays. But now when a round gets a little bit scrappy, like Sprout is going to try to make this, they have the firepower to deal with teams that are going to try to test them like that.
Yeah, and I think a good point to bring up as well is that calculated aggression we see coming out from Heroic, particularly on those CT sides. Not super aggressive, but when they feel like they can do it, they are bringing that sort of movement out, Blair. And I'm wondering how you think that's going to be matching up with Sprout's playstyle coming into this.
It's gonna get a little messy, I won't lie. I think Sprout is sort of team who are aware of this. They know how to play Counter-Strike. They're gonna be waiting for that aggression from Heroic. How it's gonna play out? Look, based on how I've seen from an eye test of both these teams, Heroic should be coming out on top, right, in these sort of duels, because the trading potential is so fantastic. And for the side of Sprout, they rely a lot on multi-kills. I think they're the second highest rated team when it comes to getting multi-kills all across the board for the players. And that is something which is going to be challenged when you have this close-knit tendency, this pack mentality that Heroic tend to showcase on the CD side, or even the T side for that matter.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I feel like you've brought up two players here that we're going to be comparing from each team. Who are they, and why are we comparing these guys, Blair?
The usual suspect is going to be, of course, Diha. He's been a guy everyone's been keeping an eye on. The amount of multi-kills he gets. And Maui pointed out as well, he's in such unfavorable spots. There's no backup for his teammates. I think they have one of the worst flash assists in the tournament, the side of Sprout, and yet he just keeps getting his multi-kill rounds. On the other hand, we have the wonder child that is Tessus. He has been spectacular. He plays a different style. He's enabled by his teams, and he plays a safer approach, one might say. He's very calculated risks being taken by him, while Diha is more like an unhinged lunatic who just kills everyone. So it's going to be interesting how this one's going to play out.
Definitely a clashing of two very, very different styles indeed. I cannot wait to see how this one is going to be going down. But before we can jump into it, we've got to do predictions, gentlemen. Maui, I'm starting with you. Who are you siding with for this one?
I've got to go with Heroic here. I feel like their firepower is just on another level right now, and they are definitely going to be coming into this one prepared. Tessus, you're going to see this guy find multi-kills too, but his are going to be in the form of some excellent spray downs. You'll see it here.
Are you going to be siding with the same feelings there, Blair? Give us a bit of an explanation to why you're going to be going with the team you pick.
Both my heart and my brain says Heroic, right? Like, they're a team, number 2 ranked in the world. They're playing against Sprout, who just cracking the top 20 right now. This is a team, Heroic are a team who are in contention, if you ask me, for making the finals. They still can make that run, I feel like, but they are a little shaky at times. I think that map on Nuke against North, that comes to mind. They had a slow start. They were able to get the win at the end, but it was a little bit of a rough start. So even if they have a rough start here, I feel like they have the map pool, they have the players, they have the teamwork, and overall, every facet is covered by this heroic side. So I'd be a fool to go for Sprout here, unfortunately.
I think it's going to be heroes across the board, rather, from us up here on the desk. And I think there's a good reason for that, right? We're looking at the caliber of opposition that these two teams have faced to be getting to this stage. Because Blair, we sort of have to compare them in that sense. Sprout haven't faced that sort of a higher caliber opposition that maybe Heroic have. Because, we've seen them facing Astralis. And they managed to take Vertigo to such an overtime. Unfortunately, Astralis did close it out. But I think what we've seen in terms of the competition that Heroic have been facing here so far, Blair, it's been a step above.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Heroic came from the group of death. You look at the group A and B, and then you have C and D, right? C and D were comparatively easier, and Sprout came from an easier group altogether. That win over NIP was pretty impressive, I won't lie. But like you said yourself, Freya, like you have NIP. They faced NIP twice, so the second time they lost. They placed North, which they lost as well to North, if I'm not mistaken, and then they beat Godsend in the end. So you look at the caliber of the teams they're playing, not at the level of an Astralis, a G2, or for that matter, even, Endpoint is a little bit of an anomaly there for the side of Heroic. But yeah, you got to look at who they've played. And yes, they've done a great job coming here so far, but I feel like this could be the end of the run for the German-Polish mix.
It might be indeed, and with that, we can check in on what the fans are thinking at home as well. Of course, make sure you're voting in our Twitch chat prediction polls at the beginning of these segments. And yeah, Maui, they're going to be siding with Heroic, agreeing with us again. I know you love Twitch chat down there, Maui. Have you got any words to say to them after they're following your sound advice?
God, Twitch chat, you are geniuses today. I love you guys. 76%. This is one of the most reasonable Twitch chat predictions I've seen all week. Good job.
Well, reasonable. That's a very good compliment coming from Maui. You guys, you're the fourth analyst up here on the desk. We know we love you down there in Twitch chat. But I think with that being said, it's time to get this show on the road. It's been a bumpy ride for both of our teams to get to this point, but only one will cling on to their tournament life. It's all on the line as Heroic are taken on Sprout after this.
Welcome back to DreamHack Open 4. It's time to get things underway with Sprout taking on Heroic. My name is Dinko, joined by Hawker for this one, and this should be a fantastic matchup.
Yeah, I think so. I think this should be a fun one. We're expecting Heroic to be big favorites, as you will have heard from the desk. But Sprout have been a team that have surprised us a couple of times already in this tournament. They surprised us in Group D, Dinko. Let's see if they've got another surprise up their sleeves.
Yeah, big favorites, you said. Moving on, the winner of this goes on to play big, right? And I think that's a bit of a sigh of relief for both of these teams. I don't think anybody's wanting to play Vitality moving forward. So as long as you can avoid them looking forward after the result this morning, Vitality getting the win over Big, that allows these teams to go on and play them. So this is the next step for the winner of this matchup. And right now, I think it has to be Heroic. Tessus has been very impressive throughout this tournament and very recently has just kind of got the respect he requires. I remember seeing signs of Tessus' ability a long time ago, Alex, around a year ago. I was doing some qualifier events for some of the bigger ESL events, and I seen Tessus playing for Optic with MSL. And he popped off and got 27 kills and 8 deaths on one map against the Fours in the grand final. This guy is definitely showing glimpses of his potential, and now finally is starting to be consistent, getting the roles he wants, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, I also remember, I think he was on that MSL team at New York where we casted a couple of their games, which was a while ago. And that's where he had, I think, a couple of pretty poor maps at that tournament. But it was his first big tournament, so it was to be expected. He was making a couple of just silly mistakes, which you kind of expect from an inexperienced player. He's completely removed that from his game, though, and his entry work on this team has been exceptional. We've heard everyone talking about it. I think he's one of the players with the highest ADR in this tournament because he plays that entry role a lot. He's always getting involved in the fights. He's been a real revelation for this team.
Yeah, this team for Heroic, they have a play for every role kills. They have someone who can step up in every single role, and right now Tess is really slotting into this team well. On the other side of things, Sprout, I feel like this team, they've got a lot of potential, but if DreamHack or if Snatchy goes missing, sometimes this team can just completely drop off. We've seen that once in this tournament, I feel, Alex, against North. We've seen DreamHack really drop off in his performance, and it wasn't a pretty sight. We've also seen Snatchy go completely missing on maps and sometimes fail to post 10 kills. So we have to see both of these players showing up now. Sprout can no longer have a quiet performance.
Yeah, and as much as guys like Spiddy and Dennis haven't been terrible stats-wise in this tournament, they're rarely going to step up and carry a map, right? Whereas some of these stars can for this Sprout team. We've seen DreamHack winning maps for this squad single-handedly, so I'm hoping we get to see more of that DreamHack here today. We're starting on Mirage though, Dinko, and this is Sprout's pick, but as the desk pointed out, not the highest win rate for them. They've still got to make sure they can come on strong in this one, though. Heading into Mirage, let's see what we've got in the pistol buy.
Sprout with 5 sets of Kevlar, going for all the headshots here. 2 decoys is the only utility put in play, and they'll send Snatchy immediately out towards middle. Dennis towards the underpass, and right now for Heroic, it's 2 HE grenades, a flash, and a smoke across Tessus and Stown. Slower approach from Sprout. They have got that mid control they've been looking for early.
Question is, what are they going to do with it? No nades for them. And these long-range fights will not be favorable. Borup, oh no, he can't land a headshot. Got some information early, continues to look for fights, but Borup is now going to be caught. Faven comes out of the apartments, and now Nico's just sitting at CT spawn. He's going to have a tough time denying this A site.
Well, we'll see what he can do from the position, just shrouded behind the boxes. He's waiting for the rotation from the rest of his teammates to come in. Plenty of players over here. This flank of the B bomb site's about to be spotted as well. Kidian up in the apartments with the headshot. Now Sprout have got that bomb down. They'll be looking for these kills. Absolutely no utility, so it's all about the kills. And that's exactly what they've got. DreamHack with the double. It's just Kidian left alone. And it's Sprout walking away with a pistol win. Kidian has no utility left, no kit. He can pick that up from spawn. And he needs to be very quick. And Sprout look like, with the positions they've got right now, is that they should be taking this. Kidian runs onto the bomb site, but he's shot from 2 different positions, and it's Snatchy that walks away with a headshot. Sprout with a pistol, and Heroic off to pretty shaky start there. I feel like they probably should have done more down into a CT spawn, but all of the duels won by Sprout.
Yeah, Borup had the chance to land a couple of shots sooner as well. That might have slowed them down a bit. That might have left him with more ammo to actually be able to fight that Palace player. But he's not ready for it. And Heroic lose that A site a little too quickly. Kavian whipping out the scout for the second round. Unable to land a shot, first time of asking. He'll try and go back into connector. Dennis is already getting up close though, so Cadian's got to be aware of that fact. And he puts down a defensive smoke. So this is the full force by Nico through the smoke with a dirty shot.
Oh, rip Spiddy. That is just a fantastic start for the CT side. Nico buying heads through the smokes, and now Borup deploying the smoke grenade outside the ramp. Snatch, he's taking a lot of damage on board. He was towards top middle when that HE came soaring behind the boxes. I didn't quite see if that done anything to him. Missed shot from Kidian. Dennis taking a nade to the bottom of the feet, but it only does 3 damage. So right now, Sprout still in a position to recover this, and that kill puts them in the right position. Now it's down Tessus, Kidian, and Nico. And try and combine forces to pull this round off. The Deagles stuck back towards CT spawn. Kidian desperately looking for some sort of chance to pull the round in favor of Heroic. So this bomb goes down, and now Sprout can fall back into their post plants. Stown is going through Palace, but DreamHack's aware of a possibility of a flank, but it doesn't matter. Stown on the kill, and now he has the Galil to work with, and that does spread the attention from Sprout out across the site.
Ooh, bit of damage done by Faven. 3v3 for Sprout to work with on the post plant. Snatchy struggling with the AK spray. Tessus wins that fight. Now Faven's got to make sure he makes the difference here. Oh no, the defuse is happening, but the USP sprays through. And I think Sprout are okay in this one. It comes close. It's a little uncomfortable, but it's a round win for Sprout. They're second on the board. Stown will just back away, saving the Galil. And it was important that they converted that second round Dinko. Even if it came close, at least they got the win.
Yeah, the thing is, it does come close. That isn't ideal, but nonetheless, it was the force buy from Heroic. So going into this next round, they'll not have anything to play with, and it's a round that Sprout can recover their economy in. You take a look at what Heroic have. It is that one Galil that's down saved over, and the rest of the team with barely any investment. It's just Nico on that deagle, a little bit of Kevlar to equal out the money. And now Sprout looking to try and pick up 3-0. Brilliant. Brilliant stuff.
That's a lovely way to start the round for Sprout, making things even easier for them. I think one of the strengths for Heroic certainly is their game planning heading into games. I really like the ideas they have overall for how they're going to play out their half. I think Sprout have that at times as well, though. So I think that's going to be a fun thing to watch for in this series. Seeing which team can get the better of the preparation game, right? You see those nades stacked there. Clearly something Heroic were not expecting to be coming up against them. Nico, though, landing another deagle shot. Back-to-back rounds where he gets an early kill with the Deeg. Spiddy spotted this man, though down, none the wiser to Spiddy's position, but that AK has been recovered by the CTs. Tesses looking for the fight with the Galil. Still a bit awkward for Sprout, but I think they've now realized they don't need to fight this mid-stack. They can just run back to this A-bomb site.
Oh, Flash is buying it off the back of Faven, but 35 seconds left at this point. Sprout sending their pliers onto the A-bomb site. No one here to defend for Heroic. And I'll just be sitting back, smoke up in front of Connector. Players now crossing. Sprout just making sure they take the safest approach in this round. They don't want to lose any more players. This AK not be a bad save. Also, this Galil, something to work with in the next round as well. You know, you can get more utility out. You can have some reserve cash. Of course, they'll still be able to buy going into the next round, Alex, but you still want that AK. You still want to have as much money to play with as possible. And that is the call as they back away into the B site, sending one player on the hunt. And it's actually DreamHack with an AK right now, so he has to be able to get this kill. Gideon inside of the site. DreamHack now shifting his way into the B bomb site. But Gideon has such a good angle, and that's another AK into the hands of Heroic. I'm not a fan of that, Alex. You're just giving away an AK there.
Yeah, that was a bit much from DreamHack. Wanting those fights a little too heavily. And we also have to give some credit to Katie in there just for playing a very sneaky off angle, right? As much as it wasn't like a massive play or anything, those rounds can make a difference. You steal away another AK, that can impact the economy so much heading forwards. So I like that Heroic were aware and playing off angles and ready to try and get those kills. Now we head into the first gun round. Cadian gets the AWP into his hands, but you can see Heroic have quite a bit of reserve cash because of all those guns they were able to save.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was just alluding to. The fact that, okay, you'll still be able to buy going into this next round, but if you save that AK-47, if you save the Galil, you've got the reserve cash over. Nico also had Kevlar. Well, shot from Gideon needs to land, and he is dropped immediately. DreamHack with a headshot. Not a single kill for Gideon on the hold. Spitty turning around, catching Testis, just running down short. I don't know what happened there for Testis. He just fully committed. He didn't see the head of Spitty. And now that has given a two-man advantage to Sprout. And this round is a non-starter for Heroic. They have to save yet again. And Sprout just, that's easy pickings for them. Absolutely nothing done for Sprout that was next level. They didn't really have to work too hard to get this round win.
And again, this could come back to the game plan slightly at the start of the game for Sprout, because Borup has had a couple of rounds already on A where he's not been 100% prepared. He's not looked 100% ready for those early fights. And he's missed a couple of shots as well. So they goes back to that A-bomb site. This time it's Tessis and Cadian there. Tessis not really able to do a whole lot. Cadian's shot connects, but doesn't get the kill. Sprout just going for a fast start to this game. And I think that's a good idea for them. Just try and make it into that scrappy game early. I think that's something that Maui pointed out on the desk, was that Sprout oftentimes like to make it a scrappy game. They like to rely on their individuals more. And he was expecting that Heroic would be able to hold up individually now with this roster. Now they've got some more skill on it. But so far, early in this game, that hasn't really been the case for them. Just individually, they're getting caught out.
Slow burner at the start of things for Heroic on the defense. A missed shot from Cadian, not being able to really get anything done up towards Palace. And immediately the A bomb site just crumbles to the pace of Sprout. I do love Sprout's timeout usage in this tournament. I feel like Sprout have been using their timeouts a lot in comparison to a lot of the other teams in this tournament. Obviously, with the current online era, we've seen a lot of the timeouts actually drop off because, you know, your coach can talk during things. You don't really need to sit down and really listen to what he's got to say in a timeout, right? You can kind of just have him chip in at the end of rounds or the start of rounds. And yeah, definitely still using a lot of their timeouts well here, Sprout. And Snatchy's got off to a good start. Nico going down early on. Again, Heroic a man down. And this is a desperately needed round for them. So much investment here with this double up setup. And Cadian able to pull the kill back. That's 1 kill finally for Heroic, and the double up setup working out.
Oh, Fathom was hoping he could just get into the backlines there, jumping into window, but I think Heroic clearly heard it. They were aware that that was a possibility, and now Dennis is also going to follow his teammate to an early grave. Only Diha remaining here, and finally, Heroic have figured it out. The double up setup comes through for them, gets a bunch of these early kills, and this is definitely going to be something that Heroic will probably be looking at. If you go for quick aggression against them, they can try and rock that double up setup. They can try and shut down the early plays. Now, Heroic have spread out here. Diha's got the chance to try and take some 1v1s. He's already got that first kill. You can see on the minimap, Borup is in spawn, but Cadian is sitting behind that smoke on the site. That's a really difficult position for Diha to be aware of, and Cadian has finally got the kill. 3 for him on the AWP, and the first round on the board for Heroic.
Yeah, finally this double up setup able to come out for Heroic. This is something that's very scary on Mirage, especially in the defense. If Stown gets going, if he has a good game in that AWP alongside Cadian hitting some shots, this can be scary for most T sides in the world. Sprout really got to figure this out. And Cadian, yet again, another kill. They're still trying this quick approach, Sprout. Diha running out of ramp on his own. This is where, if it starts to get shut down now, if Heroic have figured it out, they keep winning these early duels, that's when Sprout need to change it up. They can't keep going for that. It's fine for those early rounds, and you're kind of catching them off guard. But once Heroic can sit back and sort of figure out what you're doing, you've got to change it up. You've got to be able to adapt.
Ooh, Dennis taking quite a bit of damage from the flames there. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think Sprout, I like that they go for the aggression to start the game. I think that's when it's most likely to catch Heroic off guard. But as you said, the adaptation from Heroic has come through, it seems. The double up setup are winning these early fights now. So Sprout might have to slow things down, and they might have to make sure they don't die like that. There's not much you can do against that, though. Borup with a great shot. And now Sprout are down in a 3v5.
Yeah, I think he just spotted the head of Dennis just before the smoke popped. So as it pops, the headshot comes through, and Sprout down another man. 2-man deficit. They walk through the smoke at top con. They have 2 players out on towards the side itself, and Spitty has taken down Cadian. Nico trying to make a play from CT, and it's going to work out for him. Just Snatchy left alone in a 1v4 clutch. He has collected the first kill onto board, but will need much more. Able to look like he has a chance in the round, and Stown just waiting for him to round the corner. It's 2 in a row now for Heroic. And finally, they have figured it out. Now, Sprout, I want to see what their approach is into this round, Alex. I want to see what they do coming into this one. I don't want to see Diha running out ramp again and trying to just take these early fights. Obviously, this round, we're not expecting too much to come out of, but in the next gun round, we really will get to see if Sprout have changed their approach on this T side.
Yeah, I kind of hope they just take this time as almost like a tactical timeout. Just talk about what you're going to do in the next round in this one. I think sit back to start with and then figure out if you just want to start grouping up for these early pushes. Because I think the early pushes could work if they were all together. But it's like you were saying, it's that solo peak from Diha that just gives the game away a bit too easily. So hopefully Sprout can figure that out into the future rounds. Still not a bad start for them, though. They've got a 4-2 lead for now. Should turn into 4-3 momentarily, but a couple of flashbangs. They'll hope to see if they can find their way onto a bomb site. 1 flash into the B apps, down forced away. That takes away the information from the CTs, but the players are going back away from the B apartments. They're not committing into that B site. There's only 1 flash left for Sprout, though, and Spitty's already been caught.
Yeah, it looks like Testis was going to look away, but he gets the timing right, spots the head of Spitty, and they have lost that first player. Now a man down, just a flashbang, not really expecting too much to come out of this round. It's all about Heroic cleaning it up, limiting the casualties, and so far so good. They haven't lost a single player. And it will continue that way as more kills come in from Heroic. It's just Fav and left alone with a Glock in middle. And that's 4-3. Sprout got off to a really good start. They locked Heroic out of these rounds early on into the game, but Heroic, as soon as that double up setup came out, they have figured things out on the defensive side. They've been non-stop winning rounds, and now we'll get to see if there's a different approach to the round from Sprout, or will they just try and continue with that aggression?
Something else that's going to be fun to watch in this series is the AWP battle between Cadian and Snatchy. Because Cadian has the most AWP kills per round in the tournament. Snatchy has the second most AWP kills per round in this tournament. So those two have been really relying on the AWP to do a lot of their damage. But this time, it's Down who gets involved with the AWP. Early kill goes his way, but Borup caught on the A site again. Cadian thankfully trades. And Cadian, another kill up close. He's looking for even more, but Favin's getting up close. In the midst of the smoke, he's looking to make a play.
Favin has to do something here. 3 players in the defense for Heroic. They're trying to come over the top, but Favin is stuck in the smoke versus 4. This round needs to go in favor of Favin. He's going to find 2. Collects Cadian and Stown. Now looking for another as Nico's trapped in default. Nearly falls himself. Down to 7 HP, but the round is won by Heroic. And I have to say, the round is won by Cadian. If he doesn't find those 2 kills, I feel like Sprout win that round. You can see that there was 1 player stuck inside of the site. That's Borup. He's playing in front of the smokes. He's playing in towards Underwood. There's a heavy presence towards middle from Heroic in the start of that round. And Sprout just walk onto the A-bomb site. They kept going for that straight-up dual fight, Alex. They kept going for that heavy execute in towards the A-bomb site. It would have worked out perfectly for them if Cadian didn't show up with a double kill.
Yeah, really important trade kills there, and a quick B play to follow. Nico and Tasses about to be tested on this B bomb site. Down also here, though. That should be the shutdown here. So many CTs in this site. The pistols won't be getting much done. Just 1 kill for Favin and a lead for Heroic. So after some turbulent waters to start this game, Heroic definitely looking much improved. And as you said, Cadian's really stepped it up.
Yeah, he is having a good performance. It's all about what Mali was saying on the desk. The fact that Cadian's been able to find consistent performances. That's something that was never really there for Cadian in the past. We know that he's had these flashes of being a fantastic AWPer, but he's been inconsistent. Now he's starting to find consistency, and you can see what can happen when he's showing up to the server. That consistent Cadian, coupled with the fact that you can have that extra firepower with a secondary AWP of Stown, can be so deadly. And Cadian with another double kill. Favin and Dennis both going down. Sprout continue to try and bombard this A-bomb site, but Cadian continues to stop them.
Oh, they're still trying, but Borup's up over the top. Nice angle. Could get a second. Finally, Spitty trades, but it's too little too late. Oh, Cadian is killing it right now. Quad kill on the A-hole. Close range fights, long range fights. He doesn't care, and he wants some noise from the crowd, Dinko.
He's trying to fire them up. They're not really listening right now, but maybe they will very shortly. But this is deathmatch for Cadian. He is pushing the smokes. What is that smoke, by the way? Coming in for that execute. Big gap that allows Cadian to play in behind it. But I'm not a fan of how Sprout are approaching this. They have non-stop just branded their A-bomb site with multiple players. And so many times now, it's just been Cadian shutting them down. Not a big fan of this. Sprout instead changed it up in this round. It's the pistol. They run into the B-bomb side. This time, Testis is winning for them. He shows up with a triple kill, and Sprout, they get decimated on the B-bomb side as well. 3 kills from Testis, 2 from Stown. And that's what I was saying. You go towards this A-bomb site, you've got Cadian shutting you down with the AWP. You go towards B, you've got to deal with Stown as well. And he's coupled up with Testis on the site. This is not looking good for Sprout right now. A few early rounds, but other than that, it's been Heroic dominating as soon as the guns have come out.
This has got to be where Sprout slow things down, right? We're seeing a default spread across the map. The fast plays haven't been working, but they're looking for some early mid control, and Stown has landed the first shot. Cadian's still very low on health, but the flash is so good for him. He flashes himself in for the peak. The AWP's again doing the early damage. This is a scary sign, Dinko. We've seen Cadian and Stown carry games with these AWPs before, and Stown's still going. He's just got a second.
Dennis has got through behind those. Stown turns around. Finally, is dealt with. But Borup is the second player in response. And Heroic, they're just feeling it. Everybody has had those games in Matchmaker, right? You guys can sort of sympathize with this. You can understand what is going on right now for Heroic. I'll try and put it in perspective. Right now, every call that KDN is making is the right call. You can see he was on the A-bomb site for the majority of the time with that ult. He's wrecked him a few times now, so he realizes they're not going to go away again. They would be absolutely crazy if they go in towards this A-bomb site. So you can see he's up short this time, Alex, taking fights down middle. And every call that KDN has made has been the right call. He's positioned himself correctly at every round. And you can see what that damage can be dealt with. Down on that secondary op, KDN in middle. None of those fights are going Sprout's way. And Sprout definitely feeling the pressure now.
Second timeout taken ahead of this round for Sprout, but it's back to the pistols for them. And this is part of the worry we could have with this Sprout roster is we know that they do like to make things a brawl at times, but there has to be an element of balance to their gameplay. There has to be some of these slower rounds because it's another quick one here. Pistols rushing out towards A and Borat gets up close early. Counter smoke deployed. They're going to try and push him and Borat has been blinded. Nico's still on the site though.
Yeah, the rest of the team are standing tall behind them. This is something that you can exploit a little bit. You can isolate that one player because Borat loves to play in front of the smokes. He doesn't want to play back CT. He doesn't want to play behind triple. He's always towards Underwood or in front of that ramp. And that's something in these pistol rounds specifically you can actually counter, right? You can come out of the ramp, you can isolate Borat. He maybe gets one kill and you can shut him down quickly. The problem does become, at that point, you've just got Nico in the back lines playing passive. He's always willing to do that role. You've just got so many facets to this hold on the CT side from Heroic, and Sprout haven't really figured out how to deal with it all yet. And look at this, the confidence from Nico this time. He's going to walk into the AWP with Snatchy, and he'll not miss that shot.
Snatchy securing an early kill for his team. A much needed one to try and maybe test them, and Spiddy lands a shot of his own. Tess trying to go for fights, but finally, Sprout have been able to win the battles. They control this round, and they are just landing everything right here. Finally, Stown puts an end to the madness, but he's in a 1v4. Oh, don't peek him, don't do this. 1v3 now for Stown. Should still be impossible, but they're giving him a chance.
Finally. I'm going to go out and say I don't think Stan will be winning this round. But finally, Sprout have been able to put a little bit of a stop to the defense. It was like the floodgates had just opened and the water came rushing in round after round from Heroic. A sea of blue in the round counter. Good damage done from Stan even there. You know, in the round that you count him out and he still can't win the round, but he's still doing a lot of damage there towards the end. And Sprout 5 rounds posted. We head into the last round of the half. And yeah, just a little bit of confidence there from Nico, maybe some overconfidence. They've had a couple of kills to Snatchy. Even then, Alex, I feel like this was more Heroic's mistakes than it was Sprout figuring out what to do in this T side. They give them this 5th round. And so Heroic, they'll probably tighten the ship up, try and get a 10th round out of the end of this first half. But this has been fantastic. KDN confidently taking that opening kill. DreamHack picked off. And Sprout have no trade potential. They thought they could get the one player up in Palace, but Heroic sent an AWP up there.
Now the flashbang blinded KDN, but he got the shot to go his way. Down, playing a dangerous game on the jumps, takes a bit of damage. Dennis has been able to move out into mid, and it looks like Sprout have got the control they were looking for. Down goes back for more though, flashes into mid, he takes another fight. Both AWPs on the CT side getting early kills again. This has just been almost oppressive right now. This double AWP setup from Heroic is giving Sprout no room to work with.
Yeah, just putting the boot to the throat. Oh, Sprout suffocating them. You can see D has had a very quiet half. 4 and 14 was eliminated immediately into this round by the AWP of KDN. And we talk about Sprout needing everybody to show up. They can't have a quiet game on the individual level. When you're playing against Heroic and Snatch, you'll try and do something. He looked around the corner, it's short, he'll go back, but waiting for him is Stavin. And that is going to be an easy kill for him. Now Favin and Dennis, and 2v5, it's unwinnable at this point, surely. Especially with Borat's position up in Palace. This bomb carrier is not going to be... Oh, he is. I was going to say he's not going to be expecting that, but clearly more aware. He throws the Molotov up and gives away his position. He goes for the bomb plant and it's secured. 10 rounds at the half from a Heroic. A fantastic recovery after the first few rounds. It's time for a short break and we'll bounce back in a second. Welcome back to the second half, ladies and gentlemen. 10-5 is the score, and Heroic dominated in that first half. Don't let the scoreline deceive you. Sprout won a few of the early rounds, but other than that, it has been just domination from Heroic, and they will look to continue that into the T side.
Dennis has bought a Deeg on the CT pistol. I'm not really sure why, but I guess we'll see what it can do. He's playing on the B side, might have the chance to spam away with it. Yeah, great lead for Heroic so far. Stown and Cadian are just battling for the top fragging spot right now. They're both up there at 16 kills each. All the riflers have been chiming in as well, having decent impact, just kind of helping out. Quick boost coming in for Stown as he looks to get his 17th kill, and he's got it. Up close, Snatchy caught off guard. Another advantage for Heroic.
Gonna be sending players through that con. Dennis looking for the shots, but not connecting anything. Heroic will still hold the man advantage, and everybody on the team at 100 HP as well. So this is not looking fantastic. For Sprout, they need to take this goal to Cadian. Oh no, Cadian showing up in the pistol round. 2 kills, the P250. Tess is trying to get in through that murder hole, but he's stuck in CT spawn, trying his best, but these shots are not landing anywhere near the head. And the round is done. Heroic, a dominant showing into the second half as well. And Favin just saving it away. Heroic 11 rounds now picked up, Alex, and yeah, it really does feel like we've been banging on about it, but the fact that it was at a good early sign from Sprout, we thought, okay, they're going to be coming out swinging, this looks good from them. They haven't been able to do anything since then, and Heroic have just dominated every front, and now with this start into the second half, I get really scared for Sprout.
I just love as well that Stown gets a kill at the start of that round, puts himself in the lead on the kill count, and then Cadian's like, we can't be having that. I've got to take back the lead. He gets 2 of his own, puts himself top of the scoreboard for the time being. Those two have been trading that back and forth throughout this game. And now it's Stown's turn to get another kill. Spitty goes for the solo aggression. Stown ready for it, and Stown's got a second.
Yeah, Stown making it work for the double kill. He'll continue to run around the corner, and it's a third for him. That's a 4K in the round, in fact, as he gets the double there. Now it's just Favin on his own. Left alone in the world up at window, and Stown wants the ace. He wants all 5, and well, he's got it. 5 kills to start off the second half for Stown. 12 rounds on the board for Heroic. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is the map pick of Sprout.
That was a force buy, by the way, from Sprout. That wasn't an eco. I know it felt like it, because Stown just destroyed them, but wow, he made that look so easy. As you said, yeah, Sprout's map pick, this is just not going well for them. There's no other way of putting it. Even if you're the biggest Sprout fan in the world, Dinko, you've got to realize that this is not going according to plan right now.
No, I think you could know nothing about Counter-Strike and just look at the scoreboard and realize that. Well, Borup trying to take some fights towards Connector. These pistols starting to swing out. It's 1 kill for Favin. Testis getting a double kill, a third as well in the hold. And the mid swing, I mean, at least 2 kills to come in from Sprout. I'll not be too disappointed about that, but Testis holding on for a 4K, padding the stats out a little bit. In a game like this, where Cadian and Stown were taking all of the action, it can be one of those games where you don't get as many kills as you want, so you have to take them against the eco. And now 13-5. Heroic are 3 away from victory on Mirage, 3 away from taking map number 1 in a very convincing fashion. And this will be the first sign to see if Sprout will put up a fight into the second half.
If you've just joined us, Sprout had a 4-0 lead at the start of this game, and they've lost 13 out of the 14 rounds since. Testis has got another opening kill as well. Spitty caught off guard early on the A site. As it stands, the A site is actually open. Dennis is having to rotate over right now, but Heroic with the man advantage are just going to chill out. They've got the lead. They know they've got the firepower to close out this round. There are still 2 CTs on this B site, so if they do indeed commit to B, they might have some issues, especially with Snatchy being somewhat close by. And at this point, I don't mind this slight risk from Sprout. Nothing's been working for you. Try and see if you can stack the B site. Try and see if you can get the right read. And Heroic might fall into the trap.
Well, I've got 3 players in mid, 2 hanging out of the B apartments, so very well could be this B split they're looking at. And Snatchy with the first kill. Borup, the victim to the orb. Stown's dived out. Now it's Sprout rubbing their hands together, knowing that the stack has worked out. They've made the right call. They've taken those first 2 kills. But still time for Heroic to figure out what they want to do. The bomb is still in middle. It could go into this A bomb site, and currently there's no one holding it apart from Dennis, who's back at the ticket box. There's no one actually inside of the site right now. Heroic are taking their time, so they've got to deal with DreamHack. That's his second kill in the round. We talked about his multi-kill ability in the pregame. Before we come into this, he was sitting on 4 kills in this round, now up to 6. He'll be looking for a bit more as Tessus and Cadian start their march into the A-bomb site, but Dennis on top of Ticket might have just given away his opportunity, but DreamHack with a 3rd kill in the round, finally delivering impact, but it's Cadian in a 1 versus 3, and he can't even get the bomb down. Favin swinging out from jungle, much better from Sprout. The gamble, the stack into the B-bomb site, it pays off, Alex.
And that might help get a little bit of confidence back into some of these players now, especially seeing DreamHack on the server, as you said. Normally very good at getting those multi-kills. Good to see him getting back on track. I think the other nice thing about that for Sprout is that even if Spiddy just kind of called the B stack just as a risk, it makes it feel like he's got a good idea of what's happening. It can give some confidence back to his teammates that he can have some good reads, he can have some good calls in this game, but a quick B play, Favin and DreamHack have to step up again.
Oh, and DreamHack has just been absolutely torn apart. That's the entry ability we talk about that lies in the hands of Tessus. Just swinging out onto the bomb site, taking down DreamHack. So quick from Heroic, and that's a perfect answer. I love this call from Heroic. You stacked the B-bomb site last time, Sprout. Okay, we're just going to rush it. All 5 players running straight through the apartments, and Heroic will find themselves at 14th. Sprout just absolutely destroyed in that one.
I was trying to be the optimist, Dinko. I was trying to see a way in which Sprout could get some confidence back, could maybe make this a close game. I think I'm pretty much willing to say this one is all but over at this point. Heroic are even going to hunt down these final kills, flash into ramp, but the players are in power, so I think Sprout will be okay. Snatcher can just try and take one shot, and he nearly dies there. Borb gets him down to 11 health, but Snatchy is going to get away safely.
Look at
14-6.
24 and 7 right now, Alex. 20 and 8 on Cadian. Obviously, Stown did have that ace against the Force Buy that really bolsters his kills, so Cadian is still around the same position as him in terms of the impact frags, but still, this is just unbelievable from Heroic on an individual level. The calling has been fantastic. The decisions they made have been brilliant across the board, and a few hiccups here and there, but not many to be seen, and this is a good round from Snatchy. 2 kills already collected, the early peek in towards top middle, and the second kill from the reposition towards top con.
Ooh, he's still going. Fading smoke, and Snatchy spots Tessus. Nice triple kill on the mid hold, and even though Cadian has snuck up into short, he's about to be spotted. DreamHack's got him from behind. Just Nico remaining. Hasn't had to do a whole lot throughout this game. Won't get a chance to do anything in this round. That is a clean round win for Sprout. Not a single point of damage taken. And that's something for the Sprout fans to get a bit excited about. At least another round.
This is a fantastic round from Snatchy, and actually a good sign for Sprout. At least Snatchy is getting something done. Well, they can start to wake up, get a few more rounds on this board. Heroic are very far ahead right now, so obviously we're still looking at them as the favorites to take Mirage in relatively convincing fashion, but if Sprout can win a few more rounds, but it's a quick call into the A-bomb site. Hitting with the first headshot. Snatchy now having to deliver yet again, and he'll shoot his own teammate in the head. Dennis goes down, and Snatchy will fall as well. It's a 3 versus 2. Favin with the kill on the Stown that draws it back into a 2v2. This round is still doable, almost favorable to Sprout. The bomb only just going down. The MP9 low in HP, and now it is just Nico. You said he didn't need to do a whole lot in that previous round, and now he has to do a whole lot here. 1 versus 2, hiding behind triple. Both players moving towards him. He's got the first to get the right read as well, but he can't quite win the duel against DreamHack. It's Sprout surviving in this round, and it's on the board. A little bit of a fumble there from Snatchy, but nonetheless, Sprout will find 8 rounds.
Ooh, not clean, but another round is what Sprout were really wanting, I guess, so they'll be okay. Heroic again going for these fast plays. I think it was Astralis who tweeted out that they're almost like the Danish Fury at times. They bought those P90s previously. Go for another fast play in this one.
I remember seeing the P90 come out in DreamHack Summer. that was something Heroic loved to pull out. Yeah, they're a bit of a wild team, and I'm loving it. It's fun to watch. That one nearly catching off Sprout again. They've had 2 quick plays in this T side, Alex. They've kind of broken the back of Sprout. That one nearly did. Well, one should I say that broke their back. One nearly doing it in that round. But Heroic 14-8 on the board. Money's not quite there, so will be a couple of Tech 9. So this is a chance for Sprout to grab 9. I do want to bring it back to that team kill, though. It's kind of weird. It looked like Snatchy had decided, I'm not going to pull the shot. He watches Dennis kill the player in connector, then shoots Dennis in the head. It was a little bit of a fumble. It's good to watch, though.
A bit of a weird one. Heroic back to pistols as they move into connector in this round. That should have been heard. Nades and rifles are going to get the damage done between them. Nico's trying to push into jungle, but Diha is already ready for it. And Cadian's got a Glock, so he's dead. Sprout with another round, starting to pull off a few more round wins now. Up to 8 on the board. But again, Heroic can go straight back to a buy round in this one. And Heroic were going for these fast plays to try and close out the game. I think now is the time they might just slow it down. They might just run a standard default. Those fast plays were kind of working. They were kind of 50-50. Now I think they can just slow it down if they want to, or they could just go for another fast play. Who the hell knows? We're about to find out. Snatchy pushing into the underpass. Oh, he just scoped in. That may have been heard. They're peeking him. Snatchy there almost getting blocked by his teammate, but Diha caught out in the B apartments. Nice kill from Favin, and there goes Dennis. Another one on the board. Heroic losing that B control.
A man down on the T side, but this play from Nico could draw that back. Look, no one's in the A bomb site, and Nico can just walk on by. He's going to have Snatchy's head. The first kill collective for him, and Nico's not done. He wants more, and he gets the read on the CT play. He knows there's a player there. The flashbang is good, and he's in control of this A bomb site single-handedly. Gets the kill into connective, forces the Opera back, and now Heroic have turned this on its head. A 3v3, and retake having to come in from Sprout.
Bomb's been planted open as well, so they move into jungle. They move into better post-plant positions, and Dennis has to be careful.
The double peek, Alex. There's no way Dennis is getting anything done there. Spitty now the last remaining player. And well played from Nico. Pulls that round back when things were looking quite dire for Heroic. He makes the play into the A bomb site, sees it's empty, takes that kill towards connector, and allows the players to take control of the A site. Fantastic stuff, Spitty. Now stuck with the ult back at CT, trying his best, but 2 missed shots, and that is going to cost him his life. 15-9, Heroic, map point on Mirage, map point on their opponent's map pick. And this becomes incredibly scary for the outlook of this series for Sprout. If they were struggling against the double up setup on the CT side Mirage, it's only going to get worse when you head over to Train. So things are definitely looking rough right now for Sprout.
Yeah, definitely not looking great for them. This time it's Favin picking up that secondary AWP. Last time Spitty had it in his hands. Snatchy, oh boy, down to 37 health. He was hoping that Molly would be extinguished sooner. Favin, though, solo on the B site. There is a player on B short to help, and Favin almost gets 2 for 1 there. Gets the opening kill on the hold, goes for a second, and wins that second fight. Heroic being completely counted on the B site. And Dennis, oh, he should have won that one, but Nico jumps up on top and at least gets 1 trade back for the Danes.
Yeah, Sprout giving themselves a big advantage there with Favin shutting down the attack from Heroic. But look at this play from Spitty. He's got himself in. He needs to be careful he doesn't go too wide, though. There's 3 players up there. He's got a good position. This should be a kill, at least on the Nico. The first is in, the trade from Testis, and now has to be a quicker play from Heroic. They know it's the rotate, shall I say, coming in from Sprout, so they have to be there quite quick, and Favin has arrived at the party. He is looking very solid right now. Another kill collected for him, and it's just down in the 1v3. Smoke deploys, but Favin with the 4K, 22 and 16. He's still having a good map, and Sprout reached double figures.
I think he was the one shining light in the first half as well. I think he ended the first half in double digits, 12 or 13 kills, while everyone else was struggling. He's carried that through into the CT side somewhat. He's nearly top of the server right now. He's close behind Down and Cadian, which is very impressive. Heroic having to take another low buy as well. So Sprout continuing to come back, continuing to make this a close game. And they're going to try and see if they can counter this B play.
Holding on as DreamHack in towards short. He has collected the first one on the long-winded spray, but the Glock has got a kill. The Glock has overrun Favin. all not down for Heroic. Eventually it will come through. And now 2 players tucked at bench. Dennis peering over the top of the smoke, but he won't be able to see anything due to the second smoke on the site. And Snatchy catching the crossing player, that's Borab. But he was the bit. He was always the player that allowed over the rifle to get into a better spot. Unfortunately for Heroic, it's not really going their way. Another kill has come in from Testes, but he's got to do it all now. A 1v4 in total is down to 15 HP. The tap on the bomb away, and he'll try his best. But Dennis with the USP secures an 11th round for Sprout. The defuse coming down pretty close. I'm going to be sticking it with the 10 seconds here. Snatch, there was a kit available, but nonetheless, round picked up, 11 on the board. And Heroic, a couple of these rounds now, not being as cleanly as they would have liked. They probably would have liked to have closed this a little bit earlier, Alex, but Sprout with some signs of life.
And it's getting closer. It's getting there. DreamHack's definitely stepped up in this second half, as you were saying earlier. Snatchy's had a couple of rounds. Favin definitely the main man for Sprout on this one, but it's starting to get to the point where Heroic will probably want to close it out in this round, just to make sure. Snatchy already getting aggressive at mid. There are 2 players close by, but the flashbang's been thrown, and it's hit Snatchy right on the face. So that gives away his position. DreamHack also going for solo aggression, but Stown is well prepared for it. First fight goes the way of Heroic, and now Snatchy is really going to need to hit a shot here. If he goes down at top mid, that could be the game over, and I don't know if he's ready for Testes.
No, there's no way. Testes has got this kill. Good night, Snatchy. That's a 2-man advantage for Heroic into this round, and that might just be enough to get them over the line here. Sprout are going to need a huge hold of this A-bomb site. Luckily, there's 2 players here. This is the best site for Heroic to attack if you're on the Sprout side of things. You've got Dennis over here. You've got Spitty. 2 players currently on the hold. They have to be huge, though. They can't afford to go down without a fight. Both of these players need to stand tall. They need to shut down this round from Heroic. And they've got so much utility still left, Alex. They can go for the full A execute, or at least the smoke for stairs and jungle. Isolate that player's CT. Luckily, Dennis is in probably the best position to help out his teammate here. He's in sandwich. He can still be useful as the attack comes in. It's Dennis with 1. He'll go down after the 1 kill, though, and Spitty didn't get anything done. So that's victory for Heroic. They will be taking this, Alex, unless Favin can pull off what would be an incredible 1v4.
Sitting in the smoke, good headshot, but there are too many players to deal with. Heroic steal away Sprout's map pick. After a really strong first half, they're able to carry it through. And now Digko, Sprout have got such a hard time in this series. First, they've got to win Heroic's pick of Train, and then the decider, if we need it, would be Nuke, which is also a very strong map for Heroic. So Sprout are going to have to dig deep here to stay in the tournament.
Yeah, I won't lie to you, it's not looking good for Sprout, but I'm glad they had a few signs of life in the second half. I'm glad we got to see DreamHack have a few moments, Snatchy have some good rounds, and Favin being the shining light. There's something to hold on to if you go into that second map for Sprout, but it's not looking pretty. It's time for a short break. We'll be right back with the Des to break down map number 1, and then we'll head to the second map.